So I was able to attend some of the demos of the different learning management systems last fall, and when the Canvas system was demonstrated, I was kind of intrigued by some of its features. It was pretty clear right away that it seemed to have a fairly fluid integration of all of the various course pieces. So I was intrigued by that, particularly in comparison to a variety of different learning management systems.
But it was interesting. Once I saw Canvas, I really was excited. I said, that's what I want to use. Let me try that. If we're not going to go ahead and buy it right away, let me at least pilot it for spring. And I know Karen Brown and I were both at that. And so we asked Jill right away, could we make that happen for spring? And I think that she actually talked to the representative that day and said, yeah, we could make it happen. And so both Karen and I piloted it for spring of 13.
So I was also in a unique situation because in the spring, I was going to be teaching 2 sections of the same online course. So I approached Jill and a couple of other administrators and said, how about if I pilot 1 section using Canvas, and then I use Blackboard for the second section. So it really was a unique opportunity to try the same content, but in 2 different learning management systems. And I came to really like Canvas.
I think to a great extent, ignorance is bliss, and I kind of thought, this is going to be better. This is what I was really, really ready, because of my relationship with Blackboard, to move away from Blackboard. I was just ready to do something different. So I didn't really think very carefully about whether or not it was going to work. I just knew it would be an improvement. Blackboard has been great. We've used it for years. I've been teaching online probably since maybe 2007. So I was very familiar with Blackboard, and I was actually somewhat familiar with the alternatives. And Canvas was completely different, and is completely different in many ways, even though the essential tools are still there. But as I was thinking about how I might fail with Canvas, I actually didn't think about that at all.
Just from the start, I was impressed with how intuitive it was to learn how to build a course site. Since Kate and I decided to just kind of jump in there and develop our courses using Canvas, we didn't really have formal instruction, and there's lots of help guides that we referred to, but it was pretty easy to learn the various features to build a course site. Kate and I also kind of acted as colleagues and partners, in that we developed a fake course, and then we would try out the various features and get a little bit of practice using it in that way.
So that partnership and that peer support was essential for us. Along with that, Canvas has extremely extensive support online. So we were able to find all sorts of help documents, both from the student perspective and from the faculty's perspective. So that also was very positive in terms of our ability to be successful.
Some of the features that I particularly like about Canvas is, first of all, I'd have to say the messages. If you want to email a student, if I email a student or a student emails me using Canvas, the email is pushed directly to my Dominican email. I could even have it go to my personal email. I could have it go to Facebook. And I've seen where students set it up so that messages and notifications are going to various different communication platforms that they might have. But not only is the message pushed to you in your email, you open it up, you can respond to it. Everything is archived on the Canvas site, so you can keep track of a message that a student has sent to you and vice versa, and that's been a nice feature.
One of the things I haven't mentioned is that Canvas has such seamless access to media. Right. And so you can build media within Canvas. So in other words, I can do an audio or video message directly to my students within Canvas, and they can also do that. So we all had fun with that. So that instead of making an announcement via Blackboard where it's just a text announcement, I could actually make an audio or video announcement. And students, I think, really appreciated that. And as I said, they could also do that as well.
I also really like the fact that, and it takes a little getting used to, but all of the, for example, I set up the course in a number of, let's say, 10 modules. Each module is one page, and it's in a sense a one-stop site for students to go for all of the material related to that learning unit. So the discussion threads, files, URLs, videos, narrated PowerPoint that I might upload or link to a different site, handouts. All of those are contained on one page through links or directly on the page. And I find that really useful in terms of keeping the material together. It also adds a certain amount of flexibility in that I can decide maybe next semester I like this particular handout or I like this particular module, and I can move it around to different modules. So those are the main kind of features that, since I've been using Canvas, that I particularly like.
The speed grader basically is an aspect of the ability of the instructor to interact with the assignment and give different levels of feedback to the student through kind of a seamless commenting interface. So without seeing it, here I am talking about it, and it's hard to actually describe it, but it gives you a really smooth, easy way to offer feedback within the context of the assignment itself. The only hesitation I had about just being extremely positive about the speed grader is that students sometimes have a hard time finding that feedback, and so you have to be very explicit with the students about where that feedback is located within their interface. So I think having that conversation with students, if you're in a blended environment, doing it in a face-to-face experience that you have with students, and if you're in an online environment, really being explicit in the instructions about how students access the speed grader. Having said that, one of the things too about Canvas is that you can build a rubric within Canvas. And so the combination of using the rubric and the speed grader is pretty great. Another thing about that potential to build a rubric, and I know actually towards the end of my experience with Blackboard, they have actually added this element as well. But if you have the potential to build a rubric within Canvas, that really forces you to build a rubric. Because once you have it in there, it's so nice to use. And it makes such sense. So I know Jody has worked with this quite a bit, and Dan Daman has also in terms of the value of the rubric for both students and faculty, and it really proves itself to be true when you see it in an online environment. It's just such a great way to offer feedback for students.
I also like that Canvas seems to be in tune with what's happening in the electronic environment. If there is a new application that is getting a lot of buzz, they seem to be thinking about how can we apply this or use this within our product.
I hadn't done 701 online. It was a new online course experience for me as well. And the blended was the first time I had used extensively. I used Blackboard in a blended environment, but it never really seemed to enhance the experience for students. And when you do blended learning, of course, that's one of the things that you want to do is really enhance the experience, build community in a different environment than just the face-to-face, so offer additional options, additional dimensions. So I think your question was, did I have to redesign? Not too much. I know some faculty will be doing significant redesign with Canvas, partly because they're moving platforms and partly because there's it really is different. You know, so even though again the functionality is there are a lot of different opportunities I think within Canvas. But in terms of your syllabus and posting assignments and so forth, it's pretty straightforward.
I'm really looking forward to the fact that for the most part, all of the faculty in our school are going to be using the same learning management systems. So for students, that means they'll all be entering a course, whether it be online or blended or some way supported by a learning management system. They'll all be using a common learning management system platform. Discussions that we always have as a faculty in our program, which we were having these discussions even before Canvas came on the scene, is that we need to be sure that students going into our profession have a familiarity and a flexibility and knowledge and adaptability to use a variety of different web-based systems, whether it be WordPress or Google Sites or different metadata tagging systems. And my sense is with Canvas that students will be entering a common learning management platform, but a faculty can certainly integrate other types of applications and technology platforms into Canvas so that there's still that opportunity for flexibility and individualization, and as our profession changes, to be able to adapt to those.
You know, as more of us, we do have an opportunity, as more of us learn Canvas, to have those conversations. We've talked then about having conversations about other new tools out there. How can we, not necessarily know that we want to use a particular tool, but to know that there's a tool out there that I don't know about. So how can I learn about that? And we've talked about, although we've talked about this a lot, but maybe we'll begin to have like brown bag lunch discussions, to where if I've found something on Canvas or somewhere else, we actually have more of a structured opportunity to talk about that. And so when we look as an institution about having such a broad learning opportunity as looking at a new course management system, particularly as there's more and more emphasis on and more proof about the relevance of the online experience for our students, we need to do that. I think more of us know that we don't need to just do that as a program. We need to do it as individual faculty members. So we have more motivation, I think, and more excitement about sharing and learning. The platform offers us sharing, so we're kind of getting into sharing. And so I think it really offers us an opportunity to bring that more to kind of the water cooler conversation. So I'm excited about it.